Hey guys, welcome to my YouTube channel, or welcome back if you've been here before. My name's Liz and this is Let's Get Lizcal, where we do everything card making. Today you'll notice I have a bit of a different background. I'm just using the flip side of my mat because I figure I do a lot of black and white, and the white shows up fine but the black doesn't necessarily, so I'm going to try the gray as it's like a nice neutral. So today we're going to do another video where I show you different ways to use your die cuts or your cut files, whatever it is that you're using. I'm going to be using a cut file from my shop today, and just have a stack of all the products. I've already done some prep work. We're going to be making this to-go cup tag set that I have in my shop. It's generally like a bit smaller. I did scale it up so that it was 3¼ inch wide, and then it scales proportionately the other way. So if you need measurements, just scale by the width, but make sure that it's locked proportionately so that it scales lengthwise as well. But I cut 2 of those out. This one doesn't matter. We're going to be cutting off all the tops of these anyway because we don't want them as tags. I'm going to make this into like a gift tag holder. So I cut 2 of the red ones, and then I stamped the top layer in this Christmas sweater background from Simon Says Stamp. I think this one's a few years old. I think they still have it in their store, so I'll link it down below. But it just adds like a fun sweater print. And I used white ink from Simon to stamp it with. So I have 2 of those. I cut 3 of the top layers in just plain white cardstock. This is the hammer mill cardstock that I always use. I'll show you why we did that. And then I just cut 1 of the layering piece. The way I did this cut file was because, you know, like the top of a to-go cup is generally like inset a bit and then it comes out a little bit wider. So this kind of like mimics that. So you could add a bit of foam tape and just prop it up just to give it a bit of dimension, or you could just layer it here to give it like that little bit of dimension. I also have like the cozy part that goes over it, so you could do this either out of craft cardstock to mimic like the cardboard ones, or you could like do this in a pattern paper or whatever. I did it as the craft cardstock, and I stamped it using this Joy for You from Simon Says Stamps, and I just stamped the holiday surprise for you on here in white, and then I ink blended the edges with Distress Oxide ink in the Vintage Photo just to give it a bit more depth, and then you just buff it off. And then I cut this additional little like pull here tab. It's about 3/4 by 3/4, and I used this Lawn Fawn set push here, and I just said pull here because you'll be able to pull the gift card out of the top of the cup. And then for the background, I just wanted to do something simple, so I'm using this Simple Stories paper pad that I got last year. If it's still available, I'll link it down below. If not, use what you have. But this is the Feeling Frosty, and I just use like this teal snowflake backdrop and cut it down to 4 by 5¼ inches. So I did a lot of prep work here just because I want to, it's more about the assembly. It's pretty easy. There's not a lot of pieces. This cut file actually also has a frame, so you can make it into a shaker card as well. If I have a photo, I'll point it up in the top left corner. I did some tags a few years ago where I did them fully see-through. I did a few where it just looks like there's coffee in it. Because that's what I like to do, is I like to make my family tags every year to put on their Christmas tree. So I think I'll just start off by gluing the background because that's the simple part. This won't be very like difficult to assemble, but I just want to get the easier stuff out of the way first. And I'm just using Barely Art glue in a little precision bottle I got off of Amazon. Also linked below. Okay, that's that done. And then we can glue this part on as well. You can pop this up on some foam tape, and I think I'll just glue it down because this one's going to have a bit of dimension already. And then you just kind of find out where it goes. There's no marks for it, so just trying to make it straight. And that looks good there. I like this portion of the print, so I don't want to cover it up. Okay, and then this had a little bit of the topper left on it. So I'm going to cut that off, and I'm going to cut that off the rest of these pieces. And then we just have like a regular cup. And then that takes this from being a tag to being an image as well. So you can just, you know, use your dies in different ways. You don't have to use them the way they come. You can always do some trimming, get rid of the parts you don't need, etc. And then this panel that the card sits on, I think I measured a standard card and it was 2 1/8 by 3 3/8. So I cut this at 2 1/4 by 3 3/4 so that it has a little bit of space around it, and I will be gluing it to one of these kind of so that it aligns with this indent here. So we can do that. Flip it back. Okay, this mat's also better for me because it's in inches instead of centimeters like the other half. I'm used to using inches. And I'm just going to use my lines here to make sure that everything is straight. Okay. And then I'm going to glue this piece on here, just to cover that up. And then I want to take this pull here. I did double layer it so it's a bit thicker. And I'm just going to put a little bit of glue on the back. And again, try to center it. And then line it up with, like, again, the indent here, which is how I measured this when I was cutting them out. And then if you have scrap bits of cardstock, just because this will sit up a little bit, you could add additional layers here. I do have some panels cut here, so I might just do that. Just so that everything sits flush. I'm just kind of making our own foam tape at this point. So now I can add glue here for this top layer. And then I think this panel, I'm not gonna, because there's enough dimension here, I'm not gonna prop it up. Normally I would put it on a bit of foam tape, or you could cut 2 or 3 layers of this as well, if you want more dimension, but not too much. But I think that works. And then this will just sit. And we need to take the front off of this one as well. So I'm just going to use my paper cutter. You could cut the back off too, but I think it might be nice to have that there just so that it like lines up. Yeah. So that's how the card will look. We're just going to have to build a bit of a wall up around here. And I'm just going to do that with my Big Mama foam tape. So I'm going to use my Big Mama foam tape just because it adds a little bit of dimension without having to add too much. This is not my Big Mama foam tape. Okay, so we're going to use the Big Mama foam tape just because it's thin. It gives a bit of depth, but it doesn't do too much. I'm just going to add a very thin layer. You could lay this out here too. That's how much room you have. So I'm just going to add a little bit at the bottom here. Okay, and then I'll do a bit at the sides. I'm not going to go all the way around. It's not necessary. But I'm going to try to keep it close and keep it along the gift card. You guys may or may not hear Kiki right now crying outside the craft room door. My cats are not supposed to be in here, so they tend to cry when I'm in here. So Kiki says hi. Okay, I'm just gonna remove the tape. Okay, and then you want to line this obviously up at the bottom. So you just find the easiest way just to stand it up and then just kind of work it with your fingers. And then this will slide in here. And then you have your gift card holder. And then I think I'm going to prop this up on some foam tape too. It just gives you a little bit extra room for that pull tab. Okay, so my headphones just died and gave me no warning. So I'm going to do the rest of this without those. So if you're going to place it on your card, I would place this part in here because you have the pull tab to consider as well. Oops. So you can leave it down. You can leave it like up a bit higher if you wanted to, but I just want it to be centered here, right about that. Okay. And then the recipient can just like pull up and see their gift card, which you just add on with a glue dot. And you know what, I can cut one out just to show you how it sits as well. I'll just grab some scrap cardstock. Okay, so I cut a piece of paper out the size of like a standard gift card. So what you'll do is you'll add either repositionable tape or like a glue dot here to stick your card to. So I'll just add a bit of repositionable tape here, and then you would add your gift card here, and then you can insert it, and then when the recipient gets it, they'll be like, okay, pull here, oh, there's a gift card. And then you can put it back, and then your card remains intact. You can write your message on the inside of the card. This one I might decide to either leave this way, or you could add a piece of white if you enjoy writing maybe different colors. But yeah, so that's our card for today. We made a to-go cup tag into a gift card holder, which is fun. So yeah, just think of using your dies or your cut files in different ways. Cut files, obviously, you can scale to any size you want. And it's a lot easier to do with the dies. You can use the video that I showed last week where you can use your background dies and cut different portions out of them and just use different pieces of it instead of using it as a whole. But yeah, it's good to stretch your materials and just use them in different ways. And then that way you're thinking outside of the box, you're adding more life to your products, and you're also adding to your creativity, and you're really making more of your products and more of the money that you spend on them, especially if you are buying like metal die plates and stuff like that, because they can get pretty expensive. So yeah, that's my tip for today. Thanks again for joining me, guys. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up, comment down below, and let me know what you think. Subscribe and hit that notification bell if you haven't already done so you don't miss any future videos. And I'll see you guys next time. Thanks. Bye.